good morning guys. I'm going to show you the way that you can get to your KiwiSDR from the web. Now you can download the app and the app should be free. But in this case, instead of out and downloading apps and stuff until you decide you like it later on, we're simply going to go up here. I'm going to go ahead and start over again so you can see how I got here. Go to KiwiSDR and then we're going to bring up this page, which is going to default to the top of the page. You'll have to swipe down a little bit and you'll have to come down to this area right here. What you're going to do is you're going to click on this map right here so that way you can get to the live map and the world's going to pop up. Now if you have a touch screen, you can just use your fingers to open up the screen. If you're on a computer and you don't have touch screen, up in the upper left hand corner you're going to bring the map into a larger view. So I'm going to move over here now. You'll have to use your mouse to do this, those kind of things like that, but you know how to get there. So I'm going to go ahead and choose something nearby. I'm going to go ahead and choose Nashville for my area, only because I like to hear what I could hear from my radio station. So I'll go ahead and click on this one. It doesn't matter which one you click on or anything like that, and those kind of things like that. If you are wondering what these little colors mean, lower left hand corner, you're going to see down here where it says very bottom says rendered with whatever map maker dynamic receive David If you click on legend, it will bring up the legend map about what the colors mean and those kind of things like that. That's all that the area does, so you can kind of go through there and see. So we're looking for basically red ones. Red ones and brown ones are the ones that we're looking for. So that's kind of why we picked this one here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that one. I'm going to open this one up. It might open up with voice. Hang on a second. Oh, that's right. Sometimes you'll have to put a name in here. You can put your own name or you can make up a name. It don't matter. Otherwise, if it just has this, you just tap on this. Now it might start with some voice. So if it does, I'll turn the speaker off, but let's see what happens here. Okay, just got some buzzing noise. I'm going to go ahead and up here on my little control panel, which is a square to the right, I just muted it by tapping on the speaker button so I can tell you guys what you're going to do here. This little control panel on the right hand side, this little square, has got all the controls that you need to be able to hear everything. The waterfall in the background is the spectrum analyzer, and what that does is it visually represents what audio is going out there. And that the little banners with tabs above them, little flags, those are just simply frequency markers as to what may be occurring on there, specified for like radio stations and all that. None of that will make any sense to you right now, but you can definitely explore in those areas. So we'll click on this little thing over here, this little tab that says select band. We're going to go down here to just below the amateur band. See where it says amateur? And we're going to click on any one of these up in here. Now the secret here is the low frequencies, ones in the 160 meter bands. Even though that's a high number, it's a lower frequency. The lower the frequency, the better it is at nighttime. So as you go up up in frequencies here, as we get to the 10 meter, these are the bands from like 20 meter to 10 meter are all good during the daytime. Not that you can't hear things throughout the difference, but you're going to learn in the class that the sun has a lot to do with how good we can receive signals and stuff like that. So if you're doing this in the morning time or in the evening time after the sun goes down, maybe check out 40 meters. In fact, we'll go ahead and check out 40 meters now by clicking on this. When I do this, 40 meters, you'll notice that there's, over again in our control bar over here, the letters LSB, mine are already indicated, they're already clicked on. If it wasn't clicked on, if it was over here in AM, then I can't hear anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my LSB, and that stands for lower sideband. And I'll turn my speaker back on now, which the speaker, again, is that little thing over there. The speaker with the X on it is muted. And we're going to try to listen for something, and I'm going to tune in and out. Before I do that, however, just underneath those numbers, the 7150 and all that, are plus and minus buttons. Again, if you're on a computer and you can't use your finger to tap on the screen anywhere, you can use your computer mouse to highlight the minus symbols to go down in frequency and the plus symbols to go up in frequency. The ones on the outside move it up and down by great numbers. The smaller ones are fine tuning. So again, you can play around with that. You can watch the numbers move around on my screen if you see that, because I'm going to use this as if you were using a computer. I'll open up the microphone and you won't hear me talk for a second, but you can watch where I'm tapping on the screen to kind of move things around here a little bit.
It has happened before. They get bit back.
Just so happened that I landed on one conversation going on. So I'm going to try to move around here, and you're going to watch the yellow cursor up here that I'm highlighting. You're going to watch that moving up and down this screen as I go around. And all I'm doing is using the buttons on there to tap back and forth.
Yes, I'm wearing a heart monitor. Let's see. There's another half-fest in April. I didn't get it down. But we got our high school reunion coming up in the middle.
Now, as you can see, I'm literally chasing around conversations. Anytime you see this waterfall that has these intermittent colors, that usually indicates that somebody's speaking in that area. If you go all the way down to the little this little tab that's FT8 and look at that, that is a digital signal. We would never understand this, but here's what a digital mode where you can use your computer to talk across the world with digital transmissions. I'll bring that up. So that's an interesting thing, and here's an interesting thing for you guys that get advanced with this and you'd like to understand what the heck's being said there. Everything in amateur radio is open to the public to understand. Moving back over here to the right-hand side to our control board, you'll notice that there is a word in a bar that says extension. If we click on that extension and move down here, we can look up to the top of that little tab over here, the one that's highlighted red again, and it says FT8. Well, look, I've got FT8. I can decode that. So I'll take that and I'll decode it. Another window is going to pop up. We can listen to it. And what we can do is we can, I think we lost that. Yep, we did. We lost it. So let me move down here a little bit. I'm just going to move my little guy down there. Let me go ahead and actually open that back up. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to do this here real quick. There we go. Let's see if that gets it. So what's going to happen now is that if I hold this long enough and sit here, I can let this play in the background without the noise, and I can actually, it will fill the screen up with the data that it's receiving on there. So that's just kind of a, see, as now you can see, now again, none of this means much of anything to you because you don't know what FT8 does, just like I'm learning myself. It's a new mode of operation. It's been around for a while, but it's new to me. And they're literally, what you're seeing above is all the contacts being made by people around the world. And as I pointed out to things, you'll learn what call signs they are. And some of these are Canadian call signs. Some of them are the Y call sign. I have to look that one up, but I know that's overseas somewhere. These people are communicating, making contacts with each other throughout the world by simply doing this part of it. Let's go ahead and go back to our take our extension off here and go back there, and let's go back over here to 40 meters. First of all, let's see if I can take that off here. Take that off like that. There we go. And now we're back on 40 meters. We're on lower sideband. That's what's highlighted in green there. So I'll turn on my volume so I can actually hear somebody. And I'm going to move my screen up a little bit here. Again, you can do that by using the plus and minus buttons. But I'm going to, this one conversation here in the center at 7.15. That looks like there's some activity going on there. And I'll fine tune it in.
See how fast they get in.
And this works, this type of searching around works across the entire radio set.
Yeah, that'd be 30 low down.
So again, you can change things inside of here. This is 40 meters, which is good at nighttime all the way up to early morning. And 20 meters will be active later today as the sun starts to go across the United States. But there are activities going on there, as you can see, right around 150 megahertz. So I'm going to open that up. The change is when we go to 14 megahertz, or in this case 20 meters, and we go 17, 15, 12, and 10, we have to change our guy up underneath of here to the USB. So don't forget, if you don't hear something, you might want to be focusing on these two buttons here, LSB and USB. Below 20 meters, which means 30, 40, 60, 80, and 120, 160 and all that, you're going to use lower sideband. 20, 17, 15, 10, you're going to be using upper sideband. It's just the way we do things in ham radio, and it'll make sense as we get to that point of class. So let's listen in.
It was 73 yesterday. Yeah. Well, we're already starting to do outside work, cleaning the pool, and my wife's been digging out in the garden. And
as you're listening, I want you to look over and notice that I have clicked on that green USB and it turned into USN. It's a filter, and it changes it from upper sideband to upper sideband narrow, which means it tightens up the amount of frequency that it can listen to, and it eliminates a lot of outside static. So I'm just going to click back and forth so you can hear inside the conversation what difference that makes.
One of those blades has about 25 feet of a guy wire I have.
So that's USB, that's a wide reception.
And they got all wound up.
And that's narrow reception.
Thank God I've got a chain hoist. I can just pull the front end of that big thing up and to get under there.
All right. So again, you have the entire spectrum. If you want to play around with this, again, you can't break anything. If you get to a point you just want to kind of look around and see things, click on something, learn about it. You might have to do some internet research to find out what the little tabs mean and what mode that's in, but you can play around with this for sure and start listening into conversations all around the earth. Now, up in the upper left-hand corner, the back button will simply take you back to the map and allow you to start over again. Go listen to something out in the ocean somewhere, like, golly, all the way over here near Australia. What is this little island down here? What is that? That is the Chatham Islands. So what would the ocean out there, what would guys out there be able to hear? Don't know. Let's click on it and just see. Have to go through that real quick. Maybe. All right, they're kind of telling us that they've got, I'm going to put Joe in here. Hit enter.
One called Cairo.
Oh, we've already got it on 20 meters. Turn that off real quick. So you can kind of see if you play around with it, learn the little settings and stuff like that. And I'm always available for questions and answers if you want to call me up on the phone or chat within the window so that everybody else can see what's going on, through the classroom, so that everybody gets a chance to see what this is about. Fantastic. Next couple of weeks, make sure you spend time studying your manuals, play around with this, and listen in on some conversations. All right, guys, take care and talk at you later.